Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What would you say you do here?
God damn it. Bob, we love playing here tonight. My brother's ready.
It helps if you think of it as a game, Bob. Every game has a winner and a loser.
You must possess strength to inflict pain, Bob.
Let's go again.
Let's go again.
Let's go again.
It'll start right back over again. It doesn't matter.
I do love the intro song. You can keep playing it if you want.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I don't know why. I think I know what you're talking about. I think I made the cut of one of my things, and again, it just sounds so natural to me now. It doesn't sound weird at all. But
I swear I don't notice it every time.
Yeah.
So I noticed it this time, but I think like the last 3 times I was listening for it, and I'm like, I don't hear it this time.
It's the Blues Brothers quote that I'm not super familiar with the part. Like now I am because I've looked it up, but it has like my brother's like something about my brother's ready or something like that. Like I went a little too far with that cut, so that extra part's in there, and it doesn't really fit all the way with the actual clip. But anyway, so anyway. Digress into welcome, everybody. Episode 68 of the Two Bobs Cast. We are here doing A to Z rock and metal podcast every single week, except for when we're not. Then we're not doing it every single week. All that fun stuff. But I'm here once again with my partner, Mr. H. Again, I'm the herd. I don't think I ever say that anymore, that I'm the herd.
But, no, we need to switch it up where you do the other stuff, and I'll do the intro so we can, let people know who you are as well, even though your name's right there.
It's right there. I mean, reading's hard for me, but hopefully whoever's watching this can.
Reading is fundamental.
Yes, it is. But as you are hearing, there is somebody else here with me. It's not just me. Mr. H is here with me. What is up, H? How you doing?
Together, brother.
We are.
I'm doing good. Things getting better. Weather's getting better,
for a day.
Well, it's what did I say? I saw this graphic where there's like the 9 seasons of Ohio, and we're in like we're in silly summer or summer or solo spring, or I don't know, and then we're in second winter after that, and then fall. There's a false fall, and then another summer, and it's all kinds of crazy.
Well, it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful, but tomorrow is supposed to be rain and a cold front, and then back all the way down to 40s, 50s again, I think. So.
Yeah. But thank you for joining us on the Weather Channel today.
Yeah, the Two Bobs weather.
I'm going to get my rain gear on and get a big fan blowing, so it looks like I'm in a hurricane. And I'm going to be Jim Cantore here in a second. So
Jim Cantore is. I used to idolize that dude back in the day.
He was the man.
He was like so good.
Guy ever, other than Dick Goddard, I was ever like, man, this guy, he's good.
Yeah, he would always just go out in the middle of all the storms and like, hey, we're in Florida and the wind is
He's like fighting the wind off,
like holding on to the lamppost while he's holding sideways.
No, I got your camera, man. Awesome. Yeah, now it's all fake. You see a dude like. People like they got this big wind thing going. You see a dude walking in the street behind them, like just walking down the street. It's all fake now.
It's manufactured weather now,
except for that woman that gets hit in the face with the fish. Like you seen that one, like that one.
Yeah.
I laugh for like 20 minutes every time I see that one. So if you really
incredible,
just want to get me going, just show me a clip of that, and it just makes me laugh.
I'll keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind. Yeah, that's a good spirit lifter for whoever down in the dumps. Be like, hey, watch this. And then, like, people play songs off of it now. Like, a lot of people do, like, the Deftones or whatever.
Right. Well, but we're not here to talk about weather today. I know.
Or fish to the face, for that matter.
Well, I guess that depends on how you feel about
fish to the face.
About
It is Lent.
Outsider and Explosions. I guess that depends how you feel about alienation.
That's true.
Maybe you do like a fish in the face. I don't know.
That's true.
But we are here on episode 68 of the Two Bobs Cast to speak of a band that we just saw live. We talked about last week. We just saw them live, and they were phenomenal. We thought they were awesome, full of life, almost like it's a rejuvenated band for whatever reason.
Like they brought some important guy back or something.
Like a shot in the arm of adrenaline, into their veins. But once again, as you can see below us, 3 Days Grace will be our topic of conversation today. So H,
it is.
Partner, what do you got about 3 Days Grace?
All right, I got formed in Norwood, Ontario, Canada. That's America's hat up there. In 1992 as Groundswell. Also a cool name for a band.
Until you look at the album cover, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You see it?
No.
Kind of weird.
But I don't need to.
Fair enough.
That Wave of Popular Feeling album cover, is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
No, I didn't.
Kind of weird.
I saw it. Like the link's not on Wikipedia, so I can't click on it. So I'm not gonna see it either. I don't care.
Fair enough.
The band name was cool.
Okay.
I don't know. I like
Rock on.
Rock on. They played around the local area for a time, and then doesn't matter because they disbanded in 1995 anyway. So they're only around for 3 years as Groundswell. And I think it was Adam and other dudes. Like I don't think Brad Walst was with him. I think it was just Adam Gontier and some other guys. But anyway, they reformed in 1997 under the name 3 Days Grace as Adam Gontier, guitarist, vocalist, Neil Sanderson on drums, and Brad Walst on bass. They were a three-piece at the time. The name, they said, refers to a sense of urgency as a question of whether someone could change something in their life in only 3 days. So sounds like kind of a big, broad kind of topic, but I don't know where they came up with that. Drugs, possibly. I'm
pretty deep, man. Probably drugs.
Yeah, but pretty cool nonetheless.
Yeah.
Originally touring as a three-piece after their first album was released, opening for Trapped. It's kind of their first tour. I remember Trapped was big for a minute there. Headstrong. I'll take you on.
Take on anyone.
I'll take on anyone. In late 2003, during that tour, they brought in Barry Stock on lead guitar and then toured with Nickelback. So for my money, other than Rush, I think 3 Days Grace is probably my favorite Canadian band ever.
Wow.
So,
whoa.
No, maybe I put Triumph ahead of them too. So Rush and Triumph, but there's some other good ones too. But I really, really like this band or parts of their catalog anyway. Anyhow, on to their first release, which came out in 2003, as I just mentioned, when they brought in Barry Stock towards the end of that year. The self-titled debut album called 3 Days Grace. 12 songs on this one. This is produced by Gavin Brown. The material kind of came from Crazy Things. The three of them, Neil Sanderson, Brad Walst, and Adam Gontier, saw growing up. Gavin Brown kind of went through them. They had a bunch of songs. The producer went through them and kind of picked out what he called the golden nuggets from the material they had up until that point. And then they wrote a song called I Hate Everything About You, which became the lead track and blew them up everywhere. So the album took roughly 6 months to record. I thought this was cool. The first track on the album, which is called Burn, was recorded. The intro was recorded by dumping a jar of pennies onto a guitar that was plugged in and then adding distortion to it, which they thought sounded like fire, and it kind of does.
It does, for sure.
And it fit the track, and I'm like, what a weird way. Who thought of, again, it's got to be drugs, right? So, I mean, who thought of, hey, put your guitar down, man. Let's dump it. Who has a jar of pennies in the studio anyway,
Right.
Like, what are you doing with a jar of pennies in there? So it's like, yeah, let's dump the pennies on the guitar, man. But hey, it sounds cool and it fits the song. So what a really cool little story. I love stuff like that. I do. I really love those little nuggets like that you find along the way. It's not something that I knew, and I was like, wow, like how did people come up with this stuff? In listening to this band, I always kind of find them like only a few others for me, in that once I start listening to them, I can't stop for like weeks at a time. Disturbed is like that for me. Metallica's like that for me. Mushroomhead's like that for me. And only maybe a few others, but not many kind of grab a hold of me like this band does, no matter when I start listening to them, even though this album's 23 years old. But like some of their material, like, oh, I'm like, oh, I got to go listen to this song. And I got to listen to this. And then I end up listening to whole albums, and I can't stop. And it gets stuck in my head. I keep hearing these songs, like even when I'm not listening to them, I'm hearing them. I can't stop. And very few bands do that to me. So I really give them a lot of credit. This band is really connects with me for whatever reason. I like so much about what they do most of the time. There's some stuff later I didn't like as much, but we'll get to that later. My favorites on this album are Just Like You, the second track. I like almost all the album, really, but I Hate Everything About You. That bass line that comes in there, I told you, like, when we were listening to this stuff, before the show, like, it gives me goosebumps. Like, when that bass line comes in for like the second verse there, it's so good. It's so good. This is one of those songs, and one of the things that they do as a band is some of their songs, like, they build and they get to this greatness, and it's like the anticipation is awesome. So, and I love as they add layers on as they go in some of these songs, and that's one of those. I love the song Home, Let You Down, and then some of the kind of lesser known tracks, Now or Never. I think Now or Never actually might have been a release for them, but Drown is a song. No, they did not release Now or Never as a singer, but as a single. But I love that song, and I love the song Drown too. That's a real kind of deeper track later on in the album. So there's no skippers for me on this one at all. This is because I kind of have to rate them on their own curve. Like, I'm just rating them against themselves, right? So I have to rate these albums according to how much I like the other albums. So this one I give a B plus. Like, I wouldn't really give them all like A plus anyway, but this one is number 3 for me out of their 8 album catalog. But I really do like this album a lot. It's a really good debut album, but the best for them is still coming for me from them. They turned it up to 11 for me here in a hurry. So, but this one is really good also, and I never want to skip anything. It just doesn't. They're not fully formed as songwriters yet, and they need that other guitar player in there, and they get them here for the next album. But this one I have B plus, number 3. What did you think of the self-titled debut from 3 Days Grace?
Yeah, we're going to be on the same page, I think, here for a little while with this band. I wasn't surprised by that. That's not shocking to me. But I was into these guys right away too. To me, I give a lot of credit. While obviously all the guys, especially when Barry joins in a little bit, like, they all have their thing. They're all really good musicians. They all write together. But obviously the thing that really comes out in this band is Adam Gontiier's voice. I think for me, it's kind of the deal breaker, right? Where he's got a good singing voice, but when he turns his register up to high and he does his choruses, but kind of like what you would say shrieking, like the higher pitch stuff where he's almost screaming, he sounds better when he does that. Like, his screaming upper register, it sounds like butter to me. Like, it just fits, and nobody else has that voice that he has. So, it's, like when he says when he's like, oh, like where he's coming out and like almost yelling it, he's got a pitch and a melody to that I think it's just really hard to really duplicate, number one. And he's just one of one with that, right? He's one of those guys that has that voice that it's him. as soon as he starts, and it's even true with Saint Asonia, that type of stuff.
Yep.
So this is a phenomenal record. Like I was saying, I loved it right away. To me, it was exactly what I wanted to listen to. Just very accessible. It's just very accessible rock and roll music with Adam's voice on it. I think it's great. These guys are great songwriters. All the way through, I think there's a lot of really, really good songs. Now, they're more consistent early on here, and I think that's going to reflect in both of our ratings. But they're just hit machines. Like, they know how to write a hit song. And obviously, this is true. If you look at all their stats, it's like, oh, another hit single. Oh, another number one single. I mean, these guys just know what people want to hear on the radio, on these mainstream rock stations. And yes, they actually kind of kick down the door to a lot of these butt rock, comments. Like, I never heard of the term butt rock until, maybe a little bit after this, right? In the next 4 or 5 years after it, because, you get the mainstream rock guys, we play everything, we play everything but rock or whatever it is, however they've chained that. But these guys are always on the radio, like around Cleveland, MMS, when, it was 92 was a music station. All their stuff was on there. 107.9, I think that was done by that time. But there was, basically everything. They were on everything. And then even later on with a few of their more ballady hits, they were even on more soft rock type stuff. So I love Burn. Just Like You is great. Home is great. Obviously, I hate everything about you. Let You Down, I really like. Drown, like you said. Wake Up is a great song, and I love the closer, Overrated. No skippers. There's not a lot of skippers early on for this band at all. Great album, but I'm right with you. This is a number 3 for me. Again, they got better stuff coming here. But I love this album. I probably have it about where you do, a high B plus. 3 Days Grace self-titled. It's great. When they add Barry, it even gets better. So.
Yeah, the butt rock term is like it's a demeaning term that, like, it's almost like the next kind of generation labeled this stuff. Nobody was calling it that when you heard it on the radio all the time, because it was super popular. Like, so, but it's that always cracked me up, the whole butt rock thing, or dad rock, or whatever they want to call it, because that was it's a generational funny
dad
thing,
rock, yeah,
cracks me up. Anyway, on to the next greatness from them, 1X. This album came out June 13, 2006. 12 songs on here. This was Howard Benson producing. This is the first album recorded as a quartet, as we mentioned, with Barry Stock. This was supposed to be Gavin Brown again, but the release date got pushed back, and so it was Howard Benson. This turned out to be genius without purpose. Like, they didn't do that intentionally. It just worked out that way, and it would turn out to be genius, because what it did was it opened them up into doing more harmonies and working on melodies in song, and Howard helped them grow as songwriters, which it just culminated in just absolute greatness right here. So and as I was listening to it, I put these notes down. I said, wow, is this album even bigger than I thought it was? Like, so the least played song on this album on Spotify has 30 million listens. The least played song. There are 5 songs on this album that have over 300 million plays. That's insane. If I asked 100 people, Family Feud style, right? 100 people surveyed, top 5 answers on the board. No, honestly, if I asked them honestly, take the fake, old, trendy Creed hate out of it. Which band's songs or albums have more listens on Spotify, Creed or 3 Days Grace? I'll bet you 90 to 95 people out of 100 would say Creed.
Yeah.
It's 3 Days Grace, and it is so far, it is unbelievable. I mean, go look at any of Creed's releases and look at just this one album. This one album has more listens than all 3 of Creed's major albums put together. It's ridiculous. This album crushes those albums. Like, and so it's like they kind of, not that they're forgotten. I mean, they have a million number 1 songs, and like, but it's just, when I see stuff like that, I'm like, wow, I mean, this band is way like bigger than I even think they are, But Creed comes to Rocket Arena here, which is our basketball arena that holds 20,000 people. And Creed almost sells out the whole thing, but 3 Days Grace comes here and they have trouble selling just the lower bowl. Like they curtained off the upper deck here. So it's weird that by listens though, it's kind of one of those bands that you don't realize you know all of these great songs by them until you kind of start hearing them. And then once you turn on an album like this one, apparently people just keep listening because it's just so many plays. It's just, that blew me away. I love the so like simple and classic album cover of this one too. For those that aren't familiar, it's like one of those paper cutouts that kids do in grade school where you fold the paper a bunch of times and you cut like little triangles out of it and then you pull it apart. It's a bunch of like paper people all connected together and have a bunch of check marks, and one of them has an X on it, like, and this is kind of about being alone in a crowd of people kind of thing, so this it's like a concept people can relate to, that they're, here I am kind of in a crowd, like at a concert, say, but I'm by myself, so it's kind of like you're alone in a group of people. So, but it's so simple. But what was most of the t-shirts I saw at the concert, this one with and they still sell this t-shirt from this album cover. So I don't know. It's just it's a nice classic little thing that they put together. And I was like, man, how great is that? Sometimes the simplest stuff is what works the best, Adam Gontier, however you want to say if you're French or not, sat and wrote most of these songs in rehab, as documented in the Behind the Pain docudrama, which I have never watched, and I do need to watch someday. I'm sure it's on YouTube. I'm sure I can find it somewhere. But it's a docudrama about his experience in rehab. And I don't know how much music's in it or how much of his songwriting is in it, but it is about him in rehab. But he wrote most of these lyrics anyway there, and I'm sure some of the music as well. My favorites on this album are the first 7 songs. For me, are about as good as anything in hard rock ever for me, really. I mean, it's stuff that I can't even bring myself to even try to turn it off. Like, again, outside of Metallica and a few other for me, this is kind of right there. My favorite song on this album is number 7, Get Out Alive. Like, I absolutely love all of these songs too, but that one the most. Like the build, the backing vocal callbacks, the dark, urgent feel of the whole song. I absolutely love that song, and it's kind of right smack in the middle of this album. I used to put this album on, and I would crank the first 6 albums. Like, I'd have the windows open, and I would have this album completely cranked. But then once Get Out Alive started, I'd walk over to the CD player and I would hit the repeat button. And I'm not kidding you, I'd listen to it like 10 straight times. Like that one song. I would listen to all the songs up to it, and then I'd hit the repeat button because I just absolutely love that song. I don't know what it is about it, but it hits me just right. Like I said, I like so much about it. And again, every song on this album is great. Gone Forever is also a great kind of deeper cut, almost a Green Day sounding kind of song. That's like the 11th song on here. Skipper's no way on this one. This is one of the few that I give out, but this is an A+ for me. This is number 1. This is of their catalog. This is a crazy good album. Again, it's one of those where I got familiar with them on the first album, and this doesn't happen often, right? I got familiar with them on the first album, and I had huge expectations of the second album. I mean, huge expectations. And this album blew the doors and roof clean off of those expectations. Just blew them right off. Like, this album is just, it's that one times 3. Like, I like that album too, but this album, it's so good. 20 years later, they still played half of this album live. Even after releasing 6 more highly successful albums, they played half of this one. So good, man. So good. A+, number 1. What did you think of 1X?
Yeah, 5 times platinum in the United States. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, again, and this was right in the wheelhouse of albums, right? People buying albums. I have my copy of my CD for this. I bought it when it first came out. I sought it out in Best Buy. That's where I always went when they released, had CD day, and I probably spent half my paycheck many, many times on CDs. But This is genius. It's pop music, but rockified. It's infectious pop songs, right? This album's just got pain all over it. Not just is it song number 2, but it's also just like this guy. You could feel his pain, like from the beginning of it to the end of it. And that's where we were talking earlier about emo. Like this is emo, but the metal version, right? The hard rock version of emo. I mean, this guy, just from listening to the song titles, it's all over. Pain, Animal I've Become, Never Too Late. Even though that one's a little bit more positive, I guess, the Never Too Late. At least there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, I'm
On
with
my
you.
own.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Get Out Alive. I mean, think about just the song titles. That's
I
not
know.
even including the lyrics. Time of
Exactly.
Dying,
Right.
You know.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this is genius stuff, and Adam just got better. His vocals just got better.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like to me, it's when you sit down to listen to these albums, you pretty much have a guess of at least where you think your ratings are going to go. And as we talk about all the time, they move around. But in this one, I knew it wasn't gonna change anything. I mean, this is their best album. They've had some good ones, but this one is just almost flawless. I want to give it an A+ too, and I probably will still lean that way. There's no skippers. I think the second half is just so underrated. I think it just keeps going and going and going. I can rave about the first 7 like you did, but like Let It Die is so good and over. Like, where do I put that line? That's the harder part I have. Like, where you can
There
say
isn't a line.
Yeah, there's it's. I love every song on here. So good. Time of Dying is probably one of their most underrated songs, and I think that's one of the ones that's played a ton that you would think maybe not on this album. Pain, Animal I've Become, Never Too Late and Riot. Those are going to be your top players. But I think Time of Dying is the other one that's up there that's just has a ungodly amount of plays, and I love that song, so it makes total sense to me. 1X is definitely number 1. Like, it's not even close. It's 1 and then Gaps, and then my number 2, and then this is probably an A+ just because it fits all the criteria, right? There's no skippers. Every song I know every word to. I know every part.
Yep.
It's an A+ for me. So great album. Probably one of the best albums of the early 2000s. I mean, I don't think that there's anybody out there that could show me an album, and that's a tough time for music too, right? It's kind of in a weird spot for music, but yeah, it really stands out to me as one of the top albums of at least that decade for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 1.
The Blackening, like there's only a few, right?
Yep.
There really is only a few. Like it was a different time for music. There was a lot of stuff going on, but like you mentioned about Adam and his like lyric writing, like he does it in a way where you feel like I've never met the guy, but I feel like I know him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's so personal, the stuff that he writes. Like you feel like you know him. Like it's crazy. It's so good. It's so great how he can get that across in a song and make it like rhyme and have melody and make a song structure out of it. Like it's just crazy good stuff. Crazy good. All right, on to we'll stop gushing about that one, even though we could for a half hour just on that album. But you got to stop somewhere. Life Starts Now, their third album, came out September 22nd, 2009. 12 songs on here. They went with Howard Benson again. It ain't broke, don't fix it. They attempted to write some happier stuff here. They're self-aware enough that they know that they're writing some angry, dark stuff. And they attempted to write some happier, more uplifting songs instead of the kind of bleak and angry tones of the previous 2 albums. But honestly, for me, it's not that much happier, honestly, to me. So it's kind of funny. I was reading, as I was listening to this, and I'm like, as I'm going along, like, this really isn't that much happier than the other one. So, but they did attempt to do that. So, again, this is another one of those where I could not wait for this album to come out after how much I loved 1X. It wasn't quite as good, but I still wasn't disappointed, which is saying a lot considering how much I loved 1X. So,
right.
Many of these songs, just like 1X, I loved the second I heard them. There was no need for them to grow on me. And like my appreciation has kind of only grown for this collection of songs on this album as well. Even though I liked them kind of right at first, I was like, when this album opens with Bitter Taste, and I'm like, right away, I remember listening to it right away. I'm like, they did it again. Like they did it again. I'm like, it wasn't as good. It didn't end up being as good, but I'm like, man, this is fantastic stuff. Adam really kind of shows off his vocal chops even more on this album on a couple of these songs too, like Last to Know. They don't do a lot of like sappy ballads, but this is a great one. I mean, he always sounds great. He has that great raspy quality to his voice that a lot of the greats have. That kind of lends itself to a little roughness or edge. But man, like you said, like when he pushes his voice a lot, like it just gets this other quality that just makes it even better. But man, can this dude really sing too? Like when he just wants to sing clean and like not push his voice, he can sing like that too. I mean, the dude, like you said, he's got an unmistakable voice. My favorites for on this one are the first 5 are great again. Bitter Taste, Break, World So Cold, Lost in You, The Good Life. And then you get to There's No More and Last to Know. Those are really good songs too. But for me, when I get to Someone Who Cares, again, this is one of those songs where I would listen to it on repeat. I freaking love that song. I absolutely love that song. Again, I can't even really tell you why. Just something about it hits me just right. It's got just the right tempo and the right things going on in the song. I just absolutely love it. And I would do the same thing. Like I kind of got used to doing that on 1X, and then I listened to this album and I got to that one and I'd hit the repeat button on the CD player and just listen to that song 4, 5, 6 times in a row because I just absolutely love it. Life Starts Now is a great song in the second half of the album too. Going Down's good. Like again, these are all good songs. There's absolutely no skippers here. It's not even close. This one just doesn't quite rank up there with the greatness of 1X for me. But this is an A-. This is number 2 for me. This is just another outstanding album and a better album in total, I think, than the debut album was. Even as much as I like that one. But this one is just slightly better than that one. So I have this one as an A-, number 2. What did you think of Life Starts Now?
Are we in lockstep for the first time, maybe, with our first 3 albums? Absolutely we are. This is easy number 2. As big of a gap between 1 and everything else, this one is probably just as big of a gap at number 2 for me. Love this album. Another one, I picked it up right away, and I fell in love with it. It's just every song on here is so good. There was a time when I, got sick of Break and The Good Life, right? Where I was like, all right, I've overplayed those. Over time, my 2 favorite songs on this album were Going Down and Life Starts Now. Like I would almost start it at 11 and then go back around to number 1 and 2. Like I love
hear those
Going
2
Down.
again.
Yeah, I
so
love
you
those
repeated
songs.
them too.
Yeah, no, every song on here is fantastic.
Yeah.
If it was 1X wasn't an A+ album for me, this would be 1 in a lot of other catalogs for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, just the guitar at the beginning of Bitter Taste, so good, kicks in the album.
Yeah.
Break, just that, the drums at the beginning into like the screech, like it just kicks you in the teeth. World So Cold is awesome. Lost in You, great ballad. Good Life, again, we saw that live. That's like a party song. It's fun. No More, Last to Know. You mentioned Someone Who Cares. Just it's just great stuff. Yeah, this is an A for me. And number 2, and I'm proud of you, Mr. H. We did good here. 1 through 3, we are lockstep. I don't think it's going to continue going forward, but at least we are there. We know what's the best here. So. Yep, Life Starts Now, number 2.
Wouldn't be much of a podcast. I would, some people would argue it's not much of a podcast anyway, but it wouldn't be much of a podcast if we all just went, yeah, this one's great. And ditto. Next album. This one's great. Yep, same. Yeah, next album. Yeah,
we got to mix it up here. Let's shake it up with some Transit of Venus here.
Let's shake it up right now with some Transit of Venus. October 2nd, 2012. 13 songs. They added one on here. This is the last album with Adam until 2025, as we mentioned earlier. But we'll save that surprise for later. Too bad I ruined it. Anyway, this is produced by Don Gilmore. So they went away from the Howard Benson-ness that they had going on. For me, they it's kind of hard for me to describe. I tried to articulate it in here as best I could, but they kind of lost something a little bit for me. This one is not even really close to the quality of the first three albums for me. I'm not sure if Adam was just like kind of not in a good place at this point. It's still decent. There's some good songs on here. It's not that I hate it. It's just it kind of feels like B-side-ish material for them because they had so many great songs on the first three albums. This one doesn't stand anywhere close to that, which again doesn't mean it's bad. It just, for me, it doesn't stand up to those. Still lots of plays on Spotify though, but a huge drop off from the highs of the previous three albums. So I don't think I'm alone in the fact that I didn't think this one was as good. The writing by design was a little bit more intricate than in the past, which I think works against them. Rather than kind of a natural writing process of writing kind of what they feel, whether it be try to be more upbeat or a little more angry, whatever, I feel like maybe they tried to focus on adding too much stuff in here. And maybe that's kind of what threw it off a little bit for me. I don't know. But again, still a really popular album and still a solid album for me. My favorites are Chalk Outline, which is the second song, The High Road, Operate, Misery Loves My Company, which was a pretty big song. It was a release off of this one. I'm not a big fan of the first track, Sign of the Times, for me. It doesn't really start off the album real well for me. And it has less plays, again, on Spotify than every other song except one. So, again, I'm not the only one that doesn't really feel like that's a great song. There are also some other songwriters in here, too, like Bill Bottrell, Jaron Johnson, Craig Wiseman, Chris Tompkins, guys that aren't in the band, Chris Wallen. Like I don't know who these dudes are, but maybe that contributed to the sound changing a little bit, and that's why I wonder if maybe Adam was kind of struggling a little bit, and they needed to bring in some other people to help write lyrics or songs, But because it says all lyrics are written by 3 Days Grace except where noted, but then there's a lot of other noted people.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Time That Remains I didn't really like very much, and Expectations kind of back to back. Like those are kind of borderline skippers for me too. This one I have as a B-. I had this at number 6. Again, this is a still solid album, but without many of the huge memorable songs of the previous three. It's just not their A, B plus A material for me. And we've lost Hurd real quick here. Hopefully he will reconnect shortly. But yeah, this one, there he is.
He is.
Yeah, this one, I was just saying, it just doesn't feel like their A material, and I had B-, number 6. Again, still solid, though. What did you think of Transit of Venus?
So we're 4 for 4. We're exactly on the same path on this one, too. So, wow, I'm pretty shocked. But, yeah, this is different for sure, and it's a little rough at spots because I agree with you. I think the production was a little overwhelming here. I think there's a lot of production in here, programming, I guess they would say, where it almost sounds a little bit more, they kind of have like an industrial feel to it. I know we kind of talk about that a lot, and that usually helps it a little bit for me, but I think with this band, I think you kind of leave well enough alone, especially when you have Adam. But again, I've read a bunch of stuff from Adam. At first, he was like, man, this is the greatest stuff ever, but really, like, once he left, I mean, this album came out and then he left. Like, he didn't really do much. Like, I think they toured a little bit for this, but then I think he was out like pretty quickly after this. And he's like, the songs just don't have the feeling that the other ones do. He said there was only a few of them on here that really felt like they were from his heart. Like, I guess this is one of those deals where you get the record company, you're just writing songs to try to get on the radio, and it took them out of what they do best. And it's obvious, like it's obvious here. And I feel like this is an extremely top heavy album. I think they loaded all of their best stuff in the beginning of it. Chalk Outline, High Road, Operate, Anonymous, Misery Loves Company. Those are the best songs on the album. After that, it's kind of rough. Happiness, I think, is okay, but Give Me a Reason, Time That Remains, Expectations. They put some weird stuff, like weird noises, like Expectations. That noise that goes through the beginning of it, it's just weird. Yeah. So to me, this feels incomplete. It feels like half a really good album and half like just trying to fill time on it. So not super impressed, but it's, again, when they hit, there's still good stuff in here. Obviously, it's still Adam singing, and there's some really good catchy stuff on here still. But you give me a half an album, I can't rank it that high. And the fact that I have it at 6 with you just kind of shows where I feel like a few even worse albums than this coming up later on. Just not a huge fan of this one, but enough on it is good that at least I come back to some of the songs on here. So I'm with you. Transit of Venus, number 6, B-. So 4 for 4, partner.
Wow, halfway through. And if I'm not mistaken, they played 0 songs off of this live when we saw them. None.
Correct.
I think they played songs off of every album except this one. So this is really a forgotten album by the band too. Even though Adam's back now, and all 4 of those guys were on this album too. So
yeah, true.
They I don't feel like they think it's really up to their standards either. So
no,
totally makes sense. All right, so on to Human. This is March 31st, 2015. There are 12 songs on here. This is the first album with Brad's younger brother, Matt Walst, from the band My Darkest Days on vocals, replacing Adam. Kind of a resurgence in popularity by the Spotify plays measure anyway. I know I talked a lot about that, but it's just because it kind of grabbed me on 1X how many plays, and then I just kept paying attention to it. So I did keep putting some stuff in here about it. But there 2 songs on this album have over 250 million plays, so that's a lot. And one over 130 million. So that's way more than anything on the last album. Way more than Transit of Venus. So it does sound a little different with Matt on vocals for sure, but not a whole lot. Like, I know he's Brad's brother, but it's kind of the perfect fit for this band too. Like, he can still sing the older stuff. Yeah, it doesn't sound the same as Adam singing it, but it sounds good enough.
Yep.
And like the new stuff, like, he fits right in with how this band writes songs. He can sing, pretty well himself. So it's kind of a real good fit. And it's kind of shocking. And I don't know, they kind of fell into it because it's like, oh, it's my brother, what the hell, and who are the other guys going to say no? So no, we can't have your brother in the band. He sucks. So, it just fits. So 12 songs too, back to 12 songs again, and all pretty much between 3 to 4 minutes. That's right in their wheelhouse. That's kind of what they do best. They know what they do best, and that's kind of it. Favorites on this one are Human Race, the first song, the second song, Painkiller, and I Am Machine. They played I Am Machine and Painkiller off of this live. And there's no skippers for me, really. But it's not, obviously, not up to the level of the other ones. But I did enjoy this album a little bit more than Transit of Venus. So I had this at number 5. I had this kind of as a solid B. It's a pretty solid album. Again, not great. There's some really, really good songs, but just a handful of them, like a quarter of the songs. The rest of them are good to okay, but nothing I'd really skip. I can just kind of let this one play. B, number 5. What did you think of Human?
All right, so I'm glad you said, this is going to be really boring if we have all the same things. It's lining up that we're going to might be 100% on this one.
Oh boy.
This is really good. And it blew me away. I did not expect this. When Adam left and I heard that they were dropping a new song, I was like, oh, okay, can't wait for this. Then they dropped Painkiller. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, right.
Painkiller is a banger. I mean, it is good. They close their show with it. Well, they close the regular before the encores with it.
Yes, yeah.
Which is perfect. It's a perfect closer. Like, and that's the song that obviously has like a trillion. Obviously the only songs that have more plays are Adam's. I Hate Everything About You, or the Animal I've Become. Like, this is next. Like, this is like just that very next tier Fallen Angel, I think, is an awesome song too. I like Landmine. I like I Am Machine, of course. Car Crash. I think they're just really, really good. Again,
Yeah,
pop
Car
song.
Crash is really catchy, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Yep.
do I really like that song that much? Like, I almost put that one and Fallen Angel in my favorites, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. They're real borderline though. But yeah, Car Crash was one I was like,
It's good.
that's a catchy song, man. It really is.
It's just some good, solid rock and roll music.
Yeah, it
And
really
I
is.
think this album, I feel like they kind of stayed true to themselves, and they didn't after this, but this is pretty solid stuff. And I remember like they kept releasing songs off this, and I kept saying this is good, and I bought the record, and I was impressed by it. So I like Human as well. It's number 5. Like I said, I'm right along with you. We're in lockstep here. This is wild. But I like Human, number 5, and I'll give it a B. It's a really, really good, solid album.
All right, so that leaves 3 more. Let's see where we put them. I mean, we both have the same 3 spots left, so I'm guessing, they got to be pretty close. So We're going to pretty much agree on a lot of this, apparently. On to Outsider. This was March 9th, 2018. 12 songs on this one. This is Gavin Brown, who did the first album, and Howard Benson, who did the next 2 albums, and the band. So they tried to bring back some old producers. They kind of start leaning more into electronics on this album.
Yep.
Me Against You, Love Me or Leave Me, The Abyss are all real heavy electronic songs. Kind of seems like, though, this is not to make excuses for them, but this was kind of the trend in the mid to late 2010s, right? Like, I feel like this is a like an after effect of like Imagine Dragons and Fall Out Boy and like Starset, like becoming popular like 2 years ish maybe before this album came out. Like that stuff was really big, and I feel like they're kind of like, well, maybe we ought to try to fit some of this in here, but. It doesn't really fit them all that well. The best 2 songs on this album for me are the first 2, and I mean by miles and miles and miles, which makes this album tip-top heavy, I called it, because way right at the top. Like, those are the best 2 songs by far. A lot of this album was written, too, about navigating through life while being bombarded by information, feelings, beliefs. And that's kind of only gotten worse in the last 8 years, I feel like. And that topic comes up often on this album. So even though this album's almost 10 years old, at least like lyrically, this album still kind of fits with what's going on still today, Like, you got to try to figure out what you want to do by just kind of being bombarded on all sides by people telling you got to feel this way, or you need to believe this, or you got this. You got information overload everywhere. Like, this totally fits all that, which I do appreciate that. My favorites, again, are Right, Left, Wrong, the first song, and The Mountain, which is the second song. 2 just absolute bangers. They played both of those live. I also like Infrared, which is the 4th song. Not to the same level as the first 2 songs, but that's the best song of the rest of them for me. Skippers, though, I have a list here. Me Against You is kind of a weird song that doesn't feel finished to me. It's like a build up. Like I would talk about the build up of some of their songs. This is like a build up, but with no payoff. And if I'm not mistaken, there's all just bass drum in this whole song. Like, Neil Sanderson's got to be like, what do you need me for on this one? Could you just use a click track? Like, why do you just need me to sit here and just press the bass drum pedal, a bunch of times? Because that's all he does in the whole song. It's like it starts to build up and then like nothing ever really happens. Kind of the same with Love Me or Leave Me. Almost like, those 2 songs almost should be one song. They're back to back, and they almost had the same type of kind of cadence and feel to them. I was like, they should have just made one like 6-minute song out of the 2 of those, I guess. And the last song, The Abyss, is real heavy electronic for me, and it just doesn't work. That one just doesn't work for me. I wasn't a big fan of that one. Again, some outside writers people I've never heard of, on this one too. I had this as kind of a C. This is a 7 out of their 8. I love the 2 songs, and Infrared is pretty good, but otherwise, the rest are kind of mid to not so good for me. Too far away from what they do best. This kind of, as I mentioned earlier, this sounds like kind of like Octane, following Octane trends for me. Like, what are they playing on Octane? Oh, they're playing this stuff with electronics in it now, and all this different stuff, and they just try to put it in there, and it's just not them. That's not what they do best. So, C number 7. What did you think of Outsider?
I thought this was the chance that we were going to go rogue on each other, and it's not. We're still lockstep. Very top heavy. I actually like the first 4 songs quite a bit.
Okay.
Left, Right, Long Mountain. I like I Am an Outsider, and Infrared I think is really good. Nothing to Lose But You is okay, and then the album loses me. I'm gone. Like, I have no clue what they're doing here. But again, I have it number 7 alongside you, because I think the next one is even more kind of out there.
We're going to agree completely.
I know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
100% on
Ditto. All right, let's just end it now. We're done. That's it.
Number 7, ditto. Number 8, ditto.
Right.
I would actually be fine with that, except I really do want to talk about the last album
yes,
quite a bit.
Yes, me too. So, yeah,
because that's interesting. But yeah, Outsider.
Funny though how that works.
It's got some strong stuff on it, but overall pretty weak. C for me, number 7.
All right, on to Explosions. May 6, 2022, 12 songs on this one. This is Howard Benson and band. Even Howard Benson couldn't save him on this one. They didn't see each other much, though, in their defense. Again, this is going to sound like an excuse, but I feel like, one of my radio hosts I listen to here in Cleveland, he makes a lot of reasons for why the Browns suck or whatever, but they're excuses, but he likes to call them reasons. I'm like, it's the same thing. He's like, it's not the same thing. I'm like, yeah, it kind of is. But so anyway, it is kind of an excuse, but this was recorded during COVID. So this is a band that records and writes together, right? Their best stuff was written together in a room, sometimes remotely in Northern Ontario, Canada, at some property that one of the band members owns, and they just sit out there with their acoustic guitars, which they did some of live, which was really cool, with like a backdrop of woods, and they had a little like fake fire that had kind of fake smoke coming out of it, but it looked real from where I was sitting. Yeah. And they kind of sat around with like the drummer had a box and that he was beating on, and they had acoustic guitars. And it was really cool. They did like 3 songs like that. And that's kind of how this band writes songs. Well, if you're going to throw in COVID and nobody can be around each other, and these guys all live in different places, they ended up not seeing each other for a long time and wrote like 9 or 10 of these songs separately in different studios, remotely, by themselves, and not as a band. So it kind of makes sense why this sounds so different from a lot of the other stuff they were doing. Now, they did, though, start introducing a lot of electronic stuff on the last album, and there's even more of that on this one, which this is the one that I thought you might have ranked a little higher, because you generally do like the atmospheric stuff. You like that when they add a lot of that stuff. But like me, for this band, this isn't them. That's not what they do best.
It isn't.
So I'm not really surprised that we agree, even though I thought maybe this one was the one that you would have a little bit higher than I do. But again, I wouldn't think you'd have this much higher than 6 anyway,
right?
Considering how great the rest of their catalog is. Yep. And I know how much you like that. So, but anyway, we're going to end up agreeing on this one too. This has the lowest number of Spotify play numbers, which I keep mentioning, since Transit of Venus. So this is also pretty much everybody's bottom of the barrel 3 Days Grace album, I think. So people that are fans don't listen to this one that much either. I love the way the song, like Scar is Born, I love how that one starts. Like, but again, this is one of those, it's got like this epic song build at the beginning of it that's just never paid off later. It's kind of a big tease of a song. Like, I start listening to it, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good one finally, because it's like the 5th song. And then it just never happens. It's kind of like on the last album, where, the song kind of starts to build and then nothing happens. And I'm like, oh, that was a waste of time. So I don't know. There are some decent songs on here, like So-Called Life is one that they did play live when we saw them. And I wrote, that's more like it, because after the bunch of songs in a row on the last album I didn't care for, I heard this one, and this is a really good 3 Days Grace sounding song. They also played Lifetime at the acoustic thing I was talking about on stage. They played Lifetime, and that's a beautiful song. It really is. It's really catchy. It is a ballad. It's an acoustic kind of ballad, but it's a beautiful song. It's really well sung by Matt Walsh, too. But honestly, those are my two favorite songs on the entire album. That's it. Skippers for me, there's a bunch. Souvenirs is mostly just boring. Redemption, which is 2 songs later, kind of the same thing. Champion, the song Champion, is laughably bad. It sounds like a continuation of Redemption, kind of like it's a part 2. So, soul of a, heart of a boring song. So if you heard that song, you might get a laugh out of that, because I'm like, that's all I could think of while he's chanting. It's supposed to be mind of a, soul of a, heart of a champion, but it ends up just being a boring song. It's not very good. Chain of Abuse isn't good either. I know what they're trying to go for there. It's just not a very good song. These are all kind of paint by number rock songs, it sounds like to me. Someone to talk to. You can barely hear it. It's done with the band Apocalyptica, who I really like, but you can barely hear any of them in the song. Like, they're only in there. You can only hear the cellos at the very end. Like, I'm like, why do you have featuring Apocalyptica when you just have the garbage last 35 seconds of the song they're in? Like, you can barely hear them in the rest of the song. I don't know what that was about, but thought that was odd too. So there's just a lot of odd choices in this one. This is a C- for me. I didn't really want to give them a D. I mean, I guess I would have if it wasn't for those 2 songs, So-Called Life and Lifetime, that I really do like. And thankfully, those are the only 2 they played live. But I would give it a D if it wasn't for those 2. So this is a C-. This is number 8. Again, I like a couple of songs. I like parts of other songs. But then there's some stuff that's just boring to kind of not memorable for me. This album kind of feels like the opposite of Explosions to me. So what did you think of Explosions?
Yeah, obviously a lot of the same thoughts. My favorite song on the album is "I Am the Weapon." I like that song a lot. That's the second song on the album.
Yeah, I didn't mind that one.
I like that one a lot, and to me, that So-Called Life is great, but it still kind of bugs me. There's a lot going on in this song that it's catchy. Like, I like the chorus of it. To me, I think it's cool to, give me something to take the night off, whatever it is.
The edge off.
Yeah. But there's a lot of like it starts off with the dan, and then all of a sudden, right, it goes into the computer beeps and boops, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think I like it so much just because, like you said, because of the chorus.
Yeah,
it's
the chorus
really catchy,
is
and
very
they
catchy.
do a great job of kind of writing catchy choruses.
Yeah,
it's just another one of those.
Yeah, so I mean, again, it's cool, and it sounded great live. I'll give them credit there. That's cool. I would have rather have heard "I Am the Weapon," but again, I like that song.
Right.
Lifetime is great. That was probably the one moment during the show that I got a little teary eyed, but of course it was just time. It was around a year since I've lost my dad, so it kind of hit.
Yeah,
just that the song, the way that the song means. So
yep.
I give them credit. They have a song that just really hits hard. So
yeah, and it's
Lifetime
about that.
Great.
It's about losing
it
someone. So I mean,
Yep.
it totally makes sense.
But you hit the nail on the head after that, man. I thought the same thing. It's like paint by numbers rock, but instead of just doing that, then they add the beeps and the boops, right? To me, it's just like
yes.
It just doesn't fit them. Again, I was after Lifetime, I was like, I was really bored with this one.
Yeah.
At least Outsiders, I feel like it was a little closer to Human. Like, they were trying to kind of mix it, but they went totally rogue here. So as much as I'd like to disagree with you, this one is going to be number 8 for me as well.
I like to call you an idiot. I just can't, because you're right on this one.
These albums they just line up like this, and I think
they do.
Just it is what it is, and I guess maybe it'll happen again. I just think this was just kind of the perfect moment, I guess, for it to happen. So
the full moon for the Two Bobs cast.
Ooh, maybe it's the transit of Venus. No, that only happened once, right? That was only one time that happened.
I think, yeah. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm no astronomer, that's for sure.
Same.
I'm a more Jim Cantori than I am astronomer.
Right.
Anyway, on to the last album, the most recent one, Alienation. This is from August 22nd, 2025. 12 songs on this one. This was Howard Benson again and Zach Cervini. So I'm not sure who Zach Cervini is.
Oh my god, I can't believe you don't know who Zach Cervini is.
Yeah, I don't, and I probably should. He's probably an up and coming producer he's got a lot of songwriting credits on here. I know that. A ton. So
yeah, he's
every song just
he does a lot of the recent, like a lot of metalcore stuff now. Okay. Beartooth, he does Amity Affliction, and he's a lot of those type of things. So yeah, Atreyu, those type of things. So.
All right, well, some of the stuff I know then.
Yeah.
This is the return, the much anticipated return. Kind of a surprise, actually.
Yeah,
of Adam Gantier, or pronounce it the French version to be proper, joining the band. But Matt Walst remains, so the band now is a 5-piece with 2 vocalists, and both of them play guitar, which is awesome. Just adds even more. So, again, sounded great live. I like the way they split it all up. Now the song Apologies, like they played that one live, and I know that's one they released off of here, and it was pretty big for them, but I'm not a big fan of that one. And for me, that sounds like a leftover from the last 2 albums. I don't hate it, but I'm not a huge fan of this kind of mostly electronic rock music that they were doing, and that's kind of what Apologies is. It's a better song than a lot of those garbage tracks on the other ones, but I'm just not a huge fan of that because, again, that's not what they do well. Now they have 3-4 guys that play guitar, and it's just mostly an electronic rock driven song. So I also think, I have to say, Matt Walsh should have dyed his hair blonde a long time ago. Like, it looked so much more natural on him. And maybe if he did it because he didn't want to get kind of confused with Adam, but he always had brown hair. And now when I see him with blonde hair, like, it totally fits him. Like, it's just weird. I know it's kind of a random comment about what some dude looks like in the band, but he looks weird with brown hair, even though the blonde is only recent. He looks weird with it. When I see videos, past videos, I'm like, God, it's kind of off-putting. It's strange. But as a blonde guy, he looks totally normal. So, I don't know. Just thought I'd throw that in there. I'm glad it sounds, though, like for the most part, like they're back to the traditional rock music, and they left a lot of the major electronics-driven stuff behind. This is heavier than anything they've done since at least Life Starts Now, if not even before that in some cases. My favorites on here are Dominate. Finally, some heavy, heavy stuff here. Mayday is a great, great song. I love that song. Kill Me Fast, you and I talked about before, and during the show, we were texting back and forth. Like, Kill Me Fast has just got some kind of great hook to it, man. What that song just grabs you and just doesn't let go for whatever reason. In Waves, not as good as the song by Trivium, in my opinion, but I do really like that one a lot. Alienation I like. Don't Want to Go Home Tonight is growing on me. I wasn't a fan of that one at first, but I kind of like that one a lot more now. That's got the Adam kind of stamp on it. It's got his vocal kind of flair to it. And again, I didn't really kind of like it at first, but now I really do. And that's it's about addiction, which a lot of this probably is. Another Relapse is the last song on here. That's another song about addiction and about how every day is a struggle for Adam to stay straight. But he's got kids now, and he said that woke him up, and he's been straight for a while. So he's been sober, which is great. It kind of really shows here. I guess he did a couple one-off shows in 2023 with the band, one in his now home of Nashville, and one, I think it was in Alabama, actually. The first one was in Alabama at a show. I don't know why he was there, but he did 2 songs with them. And then later in the tour, they went through Nashville. He did a couple more songs with them. And then they decided they thought they were going to try to record something or maybe get him back in the band full time, and they thought they'd keep Matt. I guess the record label or their management, I'm not sure which, said, well, why don't you guys write a song together first, and then we'll let's figure this out. Let's not jump through, let's not make too big a leap here. And they wrote, a couple of songs, and they were like, okay, this is really good. So then and the rest is history. And here we are. So touring for this album right now, Alienation. Skippers for me, none. Apologies is closest, but again, I don't hate the song. It's the one outlier on here that just kind of doesn't sound like the rest of it. It sounds like a leftover, but probably the best leftover of the electronic stuff they were doing before. But I have this as a solid B, number 4. It's kind of top heavy for the really good stuff, but solid tracks at the end of it too for me. So I have this B, number 4. What did you think of Alienation?
Well, you know what I think of it because I only have one spot open. Just
I'll
like
bet. Well,
you
let me
did.
guess. Let me. Is it number 4?
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
it's
Well,
so
thank you
bad.
for watching the Two Bobs cast. Everybody have a good evening, and we'll
That's
see you.
funny.
No. So this is this was obviously listed under one of my favorites of 2025. So, to me, this blows me away. Welcome, Swag. What's going on? He loves Mayday.
Yes,
We all
sir.
love Mayday, but I'll
Cool
never
video
say.
too on the plane where they're all kind of dressed up.
I'll never say it though. I'll never say Mayday.
No,
Nope.
don't.
I'll
say
never
it.
say it.
Don't say it.
I'm never gonna say it.
I think you just did.
I give these guys so much credit because with these dudes, probably their egos and all that stuff, especially lead singers, right? Like,
Yeah,
dude, they got together and this sounds awesome with the
Yeah,
two of them
it
singing.
really does.
It sounds so good. They all checked whatever they had at the door.
They did.
I'm sure they all saw the benefit of doing this. But man, like, seeing it on stage is a whole other thing. They have chemistry on stage. Like, I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah,
The
me neither.
lead singer leaves,
Mm-hmm.
a new guy
For
takes
12
over.
years, not for a year,
Right.
for a long time.
And usually like the original guy will come back if somebody dies or if they break up because they're so unsuccessful. Like these guys, I mean, again, we don't love the last few albums, but they still got number 1 hits all over the place.
Yeah,
These guys are not, I mean, they probably couldn't have played, the basketball arena without Adam, but you know what? Like everybody was like, you know what? We're probably going to be better if we all do this. And boy, were they right. Like this, like we said earlier and joked about, like this was injected. It just adrenaline, like straight adrenaline shot to the heart. These guys are writing again, and all catchy stuff. And the way that they did the parts, it seems perfect. Like listening to this album so many times, I can't imagine the other person singing the parts that that they sing. And to me, that just it just fits. It's cool how they do it too, right? Where sometimes Adam will sing the first verse, sometimes Matt will sing the first verse, and sometimes they'll do a chorus that Adam's a better chorus singer, hook singer for sure, but Matt, he's not a slouch with it either, right? I mean, we just heard he sang the big hook of Lifetime, right? I mean, powerful stuff. The guy can sing, no doubt about it. But the way that they have lined this up, I give them so much credit. And
There's some songs where like one guy did most of the song, and the other guy did most of a different song,
Right.
Like it really is cool. And like you said, like by all accounts, like these guys are like, I want to say they reinvented themselves, but they didn't, like they kind of went back to what they kind of used to be, but with another part that adds another dimension. And by all accounts, these guys are like finishing each other's sentences. Like they're getting along that well recording this stuff, which is fantastic. I can't wait for the next album to come out. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's great. And I love every song on this. I've actually, and I wish I would have now because of us being in lockstep, but I almost put this at number 3. I really had a hard time just because of, the memories and stuff of 3 Days, the actual title, self-titled album. But man, this is so good. I listen to this all the time. And again, we just saw him, so of course I listen to this all the time. But, I agree with you. I actually didn't love Apologies at first, but what saves it for me, I think it has a really, really nice hook when Adam comes in and with the all the time you give to me, like that part is super catchy. It kind of saves it for me because I agree. It sounds like you're right. It could have come right off of Outsider, right? Or Explosions, right? But that hook saves it for me. It's like I almost feel like you probably nailed it. It was a song that they had previously, but we're like, you know what? We're going to throw Adam in there to sing the chorus.
Right.
and wow, it just changes the whole thing, and that's what saves it for me. That's why I like it. I like the song because of that chorus, but everything else here is really strong.
I think it suffers from album placement for me too. Like smack between Dominate and Mayday,
Yeah.
which are two just huge, great songs on here.
Yeah.
Apologies is in between them, and it just doesn't seem like it fits. If
Yeah.
it was like the 10th song, maybe it wouldn't be such a shock.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of good stuff here. Cold Blood, I think, is fantastic.
Yeah.
Another Relapse is really good. The title track is really, really good too. So yeah, this is really, really strong stuff. Again, it to me, it fits in those first three albums. It's not as good as 1X and Life Starts Now, but to me, it's pretty close there with that first album.
I agree. It's competing with that one.
It is. I almost put it at 3, and I don't get it. What difference would that have made? But definitely, this is my number 4 album. Probably my number 3 when it's all said and done. I'm with you, man. I can't wait. I hope they put out another one here in another year or two.
I'm sure they will. I don't see why they would stop now.
Yeah, but and again, I love Saint Asonia. I think both of those albums are freaking really good.
Really good, yes.
So again, Adam he needed to leave to kind of rejuvenate himself, and they came back with this. To me, it was like, all right, it's worth it. So I'm on board with it. I love the new direction, and if they come back live, I'm going to be there because they were phenomenal.
Yep.
So Alienation, number 4.
All right.
Why don't you give both of our 8
All right.
to 1s?
How about I give the Two Bobs overall ranking? Number 8, Explosions. Number 7, Outsider. Number 6, Transit of Venus. Number 5, Human. Number 4, Alienation. Number 3, Life Starts Now. Number 2. Oh, yeah, my bad. Sorry. Number 3, 3 Days Grace. Number 2, Life Starts Now. Number 1,
1X.
Number 1X.
Yes. I was going to say, don't mess it up now.
What did I? Yeah. I had them right in the all the write ups of the albums, but somehow I screwed it up in the overall down here. But yeah, it's definitely the 3 Days Grace. The self-titled debut is definitely number 3. So.
Yep.
But and it's like you said, there's quite a bit of separation. Like I have 1X as A+, and then I have Life Starts Now as an A-. So there's like two spots there. Like it's really not close. And then, like you said, Alienation and 3 Days Grace, the self-titled album, are really close. And I feel like 3 Days Grace, the debut album, is long ago enough now that I'm kind of have more excitement with this Alienation, and it kind of grows on me the more I listen to it. I'm kind of late to it. Like I really heard a couple songs here and there, but I really didn't realize kind of what was going on because I just kind of lost with Explosions and with I just kind of lost touch with them. I stopped looking at what was going on with them, and I wasn't aware that Adam had done a couple of shows, a couple songs at a couple shows with them. I wasn't aware of that. And then I kind of had heard that he came back, but I'm like, they still got the other guy. And I think maybe what happened is maybe I heard Apologies and I was like, it's more of the same, But, you're like, dude, I think you might have been on the podcast like, 2 months ago. Like, you really ought to give that a more of a go. And then I did, and obviously I already had tickets, and I'm sure I'd listen to it anyway. And then I did, and I'm like, it really is. It's really good, and it's growing on me all the time. So, yeah, I really have high hopes for what they're going to do here in the near future because they just got this back together. Apparently, they're all getting around fantastic. Like they're all talking about the songwriting process being just the most natural thing ever, which they weren't sure either, right? Like they didn't know. Like, it's one thing for Adam to come in and do a couple old songs with them, but it's a whole other thing to be in a studio for weeks or months at a time together. And, how are things going to work then? How is it going to work when we're sitting around together trying to write songs? And I guess it's just been seamless. Like, there's no way outside of, something tragic happening or Adam falling back into, addiction or something like outside of that kind of stuff. I don't think there's any way they probably already have 4 or 5 more songs written that are going to be on another album. I don't see any way they're not going to put another one out probably in 27 or 28, I would imagine. the way they always had like three-ish years between albums. I think almost all the way through their catalog, it's about 3 years between albums. So I'm thinking, man, late 27, sometime maybe early 28, there's probably gonna be another one, and I can't wait, man. I can't wait to see where they go from here. Fantastic.
Yes, sir. All right, that'll put up.
Glad we did them. It's a band that we both, loved for a time and kind of didn't like some stuff they were doing later, and just, it really fits kind of what we do here on the podcast too. This is the kind of stuff that we meant a lot to us over the years and different times, and it's fun to listen to and talk about bands like this. It makes it real easy. So
absolutely. All right. Well, we are going to take a break next week. We're going to both be doing some traveling here over the next couple days. So we are going to take off next week, but we will be back the following Tuesday with a band.
We're going to do Up to Us. There's 2 U's and Up to Us. What the band is that we're going to do. And I think we should leave it as we're going to do a band that begins with M. And we're going to leave it up to the people to see if they can figure out what it is. Can't be that hard, honestly. But there's a lot of big M bands out there. We've done a few, but there's a couple other big ones out there. So we'll see if you guys can guess it. But hopefully you'll enjoy it. And thank you, Swaggy Dubs, again for joining us. I don't know where Johnny's been. He hasn't been around for a while. I don't know, maybe he gave up on us now.
Well, we're doing a lot of newer bands. I think he's more classic rock stuff, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure.
Older metal stuff. So
for sure, but he does like some of this stuff too. But
we'll have to pull him back in with something. Maybe one of the M's. Maybe
maybe Up to Us. We'll suck him right back in.
Maybe we'll see.
I ain't fall from a banana tailpipe.
All right. Well, thanks Swag Dubs again for joining us. Thank you for everybody for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Rock on.
Boom.
Boom. Play it.
And go.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What would you say you do here?
God damn it. Bob, we love playing here tonight. My brother's ready.
It helps if you think of it as a game, Bob. Every game has a winner and a loser.
You must possess strength to inflict pain, Bob.